Good morning. It's Jo Avalon from Jo Avalon's Cuppa Chat, and today I'm having a lovely chat with. Today I'm welcoming Tina A. Wake. She's a writer, producer, director, filmmaker, and singer. And as she's just been telling me, creativity doesn't just work in one forum; it comes in all over the place. So you can see that we're going to have quite an interesting chat today. How are you? Welcome.
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's a little bit overcast here in Lake Macquarie. Whereabouts are you now?
I'm on the Central Coast in Holgate.
Oh, you're not far away at all. I don't know why I thought you were in Sydney. I'm not sure. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. It's probably overcast where you are as well.
Yeah, it is. As long as it doesn't rain, we'll be able to hear each other.
That's true. Yeah, because I've got a tin roof as well. So we were just sort of quickly catching up now, and years ago we met when I had my physical shop in the entrance, and I think you came in with Inga, who was doing some social media work with me, and brought your books, or your first of the 3 books that you wrote in 2011 or 12, I think it was. I think when I met you, but you've done a lot more since then, and of course a lot more in the leading up to that. So I just thought that would be really nice to have a chat about, you know, the creativity, how you live your creativity, I guess, in your writing, producing, directing, filmmaking, and singing. What are you working on now?
Yeah, it's just part of life. I feel like if I don't have a creative outlet, I get really frustrated, and earlier on, before I knew what outlet was to be becoming writing, I didn't know those frustrations were building up. You know, I've always been quite animated in the way I tell a story, even if it's about what we went, you know, to the nightclub or whatever. Yeah. And after traveling for so long, you know, I just gathered more and more stories, and living overseas and different cultures and languages, and it really helps keep creativity alive for me, definitely, and music. And when I came back from traveling, I started writing, and that was the book you first saw, The Glimpse, which was about, you know, multidimensional beings and what would happen if we all had this out-of-body experience at the same time, and found out the reason for living and everything. And then I wrote that as a trilogy. And then I turned it into screenplays because I thought, how hard can it be?
As you do.
It was hard, but,
and if you'd known that, you probably might not have started.
And then I went and I wrote 12 screenplays, 12 feature lengths, because so 90 pages, 12 different stories in 6 months. Wow. And I was like going, am I full of, you know, blah, blah, or am I actually good at this? Like, is this my calling kind of thing? And I went over to the States and met a whole heap of producers, and they loved my work, and one's in development at the moment. You know, it takes years, which I've found. And yeah, it's just funny that I kind of fell into it accidentally, because I thought I didn't have the money to pay someone else to do it. So I thought I'll just do it myself. And it's interesting how you find skills you didn't know you had through necessity. And then I got into film and started working with a local group here called Coast on Screen, and working on films as the runner, basically. And then I ended up working my way up to becoming the director. And now I've been in film for 7 years, and I've made over 20 or 30 films. I don't know, can't keep count. But yeah, my baby of all of that has been my children's language program, which I've been developing for 6 years. And I finally just shot 10 episodes of it. Great. And I'm in editing mode at the moment, which is why this whole virus thing hasn't really affected me, because I'm at home, you know, glued to the screen doing everything. But creativity keeps me alive. It's interesting when I meet people that aren't creative, and they say, you know, where do you get your ideas from? And I'm like, how could you not have ideas? I don't understand. Yeah. You know, like.
Do you think that that not everyone is creative? Different. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I think everyone's creative in a way, but maybe they don't know what it is. Like, maybe it's movement or voice or compassion through poems, or, you know, everyone has something that they can express. Yeah. And for me, it keeps me alive. I bounce from one idea to the other, to the point where I really need to just focus
Take a breath.
Focus on
Stop.
one thing. Yeah.
One job at a time.
One project. Yeah.
You're speaking my language.
Oh, man. And you know what it's like, or anyone creative would, or anyone really, if you get a bee in your bonnet, you can't sleep, you know, you're thinking, you're living, breathing, you're solving problems, you're putting out fires, you know, and you wake up in the morning like, oh, I just got to do this, you know. It's that's how I feel. A lot.
That's right. Yeah. That's why I have broken sleep all night, right?
No,
man. So
creativity also helped me through a very big journey that I had with cancer. Yeah. So at the end of 2017, I found out I had cervical cancer, which was a shock. I thought I was going in for a hysterectomy, and
wow.
So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge, and my son had to go and live with my ex in Victoria, and I couldn't look after him. And you know, through adversity, all this stuff happens. Like, amazing community here in Holgate, and people were just leaving food that I didn't even know. And, you know, my mum was an angel, taking me to chemo and everything. And it was a real big struggle for me spiritually to come to terms with chemo, yes or no. You know, like, I really wanted to heal myself through natural medicine, and I tried, and for a month meditating every day and everything. And it ended up being that I walked the line between both, and, you know, here I am with hair again, and, you know, it's all good, and I'm back to filming and everything. But I did write a book called Cancer Awake about my journey, about how I believed there was a core incident that created the disease, and, you know, it all had to do with creativity for me. So ironically, we're talking about creativity. Yeah. There was definitely a block there for me about success and abundance, and who am I, this little girl from Tascott, you know, trying to make it in the film world and on the international stage. And, you know, when you come to terms with your blockages as well, it helps creativity flow even more. So,
that's true.
Yeah, now I really feel like the cancer was something I needed to get rid of so that I could keep being creative. And talk about living creatively. Now I feel like I actually can, and I believe in myself, and that also helps everything happen fast. So, yeah.
So do you talk about the cancer being a block? Is it possible that was I don't know the words, that
it was all the blocks that I had inside me that I didn't realize I had, ended up forming a physical thing.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah. And once that's gone, then that allows the space, I believe, to then continue in what I was saying I was trying to do. So to me, I was saying, I really want to do this, I want to do that. I create films that change people's lives, but deep down I didn't believe I was worth it. And all these
and that was the block.
Making, you know, blocks for yourself, and it's almost like self-sabotage, I thought, anyway.
Absolutely. Wow. Well,
that's true.
And so in terms of your spiritual work, how did you remove that block? In tandem with go on.
Yeah, well, I was meditating every day, and I knew that cancer was anger, just from a brilliant book that I use as my Bible called The Barometer of the Soul.
Oh, yes.
By Annette Moonfield. Yeah, like every time I stub my toe, I look it up. But anyway, I have been for years, and I always knew cancer was anger. So the second they told me in the hospital that you had cancer, I'm like, I'm not angry. What am I angry about? Total denial. It was hilarious. You know, after the fact that I got over that I was going to die, and then I thought, nah, no, I'm not. I was just like, I really need to go in. And at the time my son was with me, and I was, you know, single mum, I couldn't focus. So once, you know, I had the space to myself, I could actually just meditate every day for hours, just going in, asking questions, getting deeper and deeper. I mean, I wrote it all in my book. I was very candid about, you know, the silly things that were becoming blocks for me that I didn't even realize. And, you know, I believe that each part of your body has a meaning, and the cervical cancer for me is about creativity, you know, and it was such a sign that I just was blocking myself. And,
because the cervix is the opening, isn't it? The cervix is the opening from the womb through to the birth canal, isn't it?
Exactly. So I was trying to birth something, but I couldn't because I was blocked. So yeah. And, you know, all the doctors, they were like, wow, cervical cancer, you're only one of 2 cases in like 20 years. We haven't met you people before, you know. But, you know, I couldn't tell them why it was such a rare thing, because I was trying to create a very rare thing as well.
Right.
Like, yeah, so, you know, like to be different, let's get a different cancer no one's had for a while.
That's taking individualism to an extreme.
Oh, man. What was I thinking?
Well, you're being really creative.
I was. See, there you go. But I don't think anything happens for a reason, and I do believe that I'm a lot better for it. And if my book can help other people get through their journey, I know it's helped a few people already, then great, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So
yeah,
do you feel like nothing holds you back now? You have a real you know, a real positive presence isn't the right word, but and forcefulness isn't the right word, or assertiveness. Actually, you just had the feeling of just a movement, an unimpeded movement, really.
Yeah, well, thank you. I thought I had before as well, which is the funny thing. I've always been a really happy person. And so when I got the cancer, I was like, what? I'm always happy. What's going on? But, you know, I think even the happiest of people, we hold things in. We don't even realize, like, honestly, when I was finding the blockages that I had, they were so tiny from years ago.
Wow.
That I was holding on to, that I didn't even realize I was holding on to them, and they were almost molding me against where I wanted to go. So,
wow.
Yeah, I've gone through the whole creative journey of, you know, wanting to create something, getting really excited about it, having something that stopped me, getting rid of it. And now, you know, nothing's going to stop me now. I feel so excited and relaxed about it as well, which is a difference. I was desperate before.
Right.
Desperate for recognition and desperate for that person to give me funding so I could make my film, which is going to help people. And it was, yeah, it was a different energy. I think I was just a bit in deep down. I didn't believe I could do it because no one I knew had ever done it before. And I still don't know anyone who's done it, but I feel like a bit of a pioneer, and I always have. So game on.
Game on. And I guess too, if you're not desperate for recognition from other people, you're doing it because you have to do it. It's not about recognition from other people now.
I do feel like, yeah, it's my legacy. I have to do it. And I had that feeling before, but
right.
The feeling of recognition I wanted was someone to go, yes, we believe in you, like Screen New South Wales or someone. Here's the money, make it.
Right.
But I was forever, you know, banging my head against the brick wall going, you know, this will help people. It'll help millions of people, you know. And because no one has ever done a language teaching English show before, I had no one to go to. So, yeah, it was a little bit frustrating, but that frustration, you know, became that cancer. And
right.
I can't do it. It's too hard. You know, why am I even trying? Who am I? You know, so many things came up. And it was all to do with creativity. So I'm better now.
That's right. So tell me about your language show for children, or your children's language show.
So it's called Flower Phoebe and Friends. And yeah, I'm so excited. It's 10 episodes and there's 6 different characters. And if anyone wants to look it up, flowerphoebe.com. is very colourful, and it's aimed at the preschool market for children with zero English. So they've never spoken a word of English. Maybe they know hello. That's it.
Yep.
So it's songs, games, books that I've written, all kinds of crazy. Yeah, because when I was teaching English in Japan for 3.5 years, I found my students really responded to fun. I mean, that's me. I'd love jumping around like a kid, and you know.
Yep.
I found that my kids really learnt really quickly, and their pronunciation was perfect. They weren't tripping over, making mistakes. They were just going for it. So I've made this program aiming at Asia, but I do intend it to be part of the settlement package for Australia for immigrants and asylum seekers that come to Australia. And because parents as well will have to sit there and watch this like we used to with the Wiggles, you know, you have to watch it.
I didn't.
Sorry, parents. I'm apologising now, but you'll learn. And so, it'll be 50 songs per level, and there's up to 26 levels. So I've got this is why I think I was just overwhelmed to start with. I just had such a big plan, you know.
Yeah.
And, I thought just take it one level at a time. So I've done level 1 now. I'm editing it now. I hope to launch by August. So it'll be an online educational resource, I suppose, for teachers and education departments around the world, for English schools around the world, and just for mums and dads that want to, you know, sit their kids in front of the TV to learn another language. And
yeah,
so I'm very excited. And then I want to flip it to, you know, license it to other countries, like so Spain, for example, and then they copy the characters and dress everyone up the same, but they speak Spanish in the same format that I'm setting up now. So I think I can see, now that I'm talking about it, I can see why I was overwhelmed and how I got sick, because it's such a big dream and it's never been done and I have no help. So it's been financially challenging, it's been emotionally challenging, you know. So now that I am free of those constraints, like I've saved my money, I've just made it myself, and that freedom and calmness, there's a different energy around the show now. It's all very no holds barred, like total game on. Yeah.
Wow. And so are you saying you didn't receive any funding for that? You've had to finance it yourself?
Yeah, so I didn't get any funding, and you know, before, like I said, before I got sick, I was just so frustrated at why wasn't someone giving me the money. It wasn't even expensive. I was only asking for $50,000. You know, it wasn't like compared to normal shows, they're $250,000 per 1 hour show.
Wow.
So it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a big ask, but because I was an unknown, you know, they can't take the chance, and I understand that. But now that I've done it myself, it's, you know, I'm doing it myself. There's no one coming in saying, oh, you know, you have to do it this way or whatever.
That's right.
So in a way, it's kind of good, and I set the precedent now for the rest of the show. And I know that once it gets launched, especially in this time where people need online content, they're going to be scrambling over it, and everyone will be throwing money at me, which is funny. You know, the irony.
Bring
the creativity. I know. I mean, so many artists and that I know say that when they back themselves, that's when other people back them.
That's right.
It's not very often that you go, help me, and someone goes, okay. And it doesn't seem to energetically work like that either. It's almost like you need to prove to yourself first that it's worthy of the money and your creativity is worth sharing. And then once you put the energy into it yourself, then I find everyone rushes to you, and it's pretty funny, really.
And two, you touched on that, and I thought of it as well. You don't have constraints of other people's expectations. I've given you the money. This is how we thought you should be doing it. You know, you're able to be that flow and to go off on tangents if that's how it takes it, or, you know, you're not having to force it to be part of something to, you know, to do your outcomes report.
Yeah, exactly. And initially I was, or SBS were interested probably before I got sick, so 2 or 3 years ago, and a few other, you know, kind of names and stuff. So they still didn't really understand what I was trying to do. And like I said, no one's done it before. So I can't say, oh, it's like this and that. It's kind of new. So once it's out, everyone will understand, and then they'll go, oh, okay, I get it. And I mean, I'm not doing it for fame. I'm not doing it. I'm purely doing it because it's singing, dancing. Like, I made the costumes, made the wigs. Everything is me on a plate. And I just love languages. And, you know, I learned Japanese, Spanish, Chinese. I really find, I think the world needs a connection. And I think languages and music are definitely a way to combine, you know, join us all together. And I'd love to see more people speak English kind of lazily because that's what I speak, but I would watch my show in Spanish and Russian and learn it as well, just as equally excited about learning a language through absorption, really, just by going, hey, you know. That's,
watching this zany character.
Watching people run around and be silly and cool. I'm up for it.
Are you all the characters, or are you you've got friends who come and help you with that?
No, I've got actual actors. So I've got myself as the lead character, and I've got 3 other adult characters, and then 2 child actors, which used to be my son, but he grew out of the costume. So I've got a squirrel and a penguin.
Damn it, he grew up.
So he's still in it. He's got his own segment. where yeah, he talks to kids from around the world and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. How old is he?
He's 11 now. He was about 5 when we started. When I first started filming, he was just little in the little squirrel costume. And yeah, I don't think he can get his leg in now.
I suppose he's tall, not just filled out, but tall, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
We've brought some friends in. We've dressed them up to pretend they're from Turkey or Egypt or whatever, you know. Everyone around here and little modelling agency, a local modelling agency, has donated a lot of kids for the show as well, just to dress up and say, hello, I'm, you know, Patricia from Egypt or whatever.
Yeah.
The first show, I haven't got the real people sending in their stuff, so I had to pull in a lot of favours.
I'll make you famous.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't say that. I just said it'll be around the world. So, you know, that's kind of fun. Everyone wants their 2 seconds of fame. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Why not start early? Oh, that sounds really exciting. So I'll share your website when we're finished and when it's uploaded to YouTube. So I'll share your website because when you shared it with me, I went and had a look as well. So I've had a little bit of a look. Cool. And also your books, are they still available from you, or how do you distribute particularly your cancer journey?
Lulu.com. I use lulu.com, so they're all on there in the link. So on tinaawake.com, it's got a book section, a music section. So the songs I've done as well, it's all iTunes. You just go on there.
Right. Okay. Sounds perfect. That's good.
Thank you.
That's all right. What else? What else are you doing? I suppose that's fully consuming you, isn't it? Yeah.
No, actually, one thing that kept me going when I was sick, I used to say to the other people in hospital that if you have a creative project, you won't be thinking about being sick all the time. Like even when I was at my absolute, couldn't even, you know, I was bald, I was so skinny, I went down to 51 kilos and I was, you know, just so sick, really. Chemo really knocked me around. And, but I had a creative project in mind. I had this vision at night one night, everything comes to me in dreams. And I wanted to do a music video in Japanese. So I wrote the song, well, actually I wrote the whole album. I wrote 13 songs that night, as in the lyrics.
Wow.
And a few of them came to me with the tune as well. And I was like, oh man, am I meant to be a singer? Because I still, when I was going through chemo, was asking, you know, how best can I serve humanity? What am I here for? You know, those questions that I don't know if everyone else asks, but I certainly was at that time. And I was getting books, I was getting songs, I was getting all kinds of stuff. And anyway, I ended up doing a song in Japanese called Imagine.
Yes.
So, yeah. What's this that's just popped up?
Oh, nothing here. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. I wrote and did the film clip and everything when I was bald and I was going through chemo, just to show other people that, you know, anything is possible, and creativity for me keeps me alive. It's my reason for living. I believe it's my gift to pass on, and love it. So check that out too. The song's called Imagine. It's in Japanese, but the lyrics are cool in English.
Yeah, you've got both there, the Japanese and the English. Like, I watched that too. It was gorgeous.
So, yeah. That was the last thing, I think.
that was the last thing. Oh, cool. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming and Zooming like we are all doing now. I mean, I've been doing this for a few months now, but go Zoom, our new best friends.
Yep. And to anyone out there doubting themselves, like, I don't know, for me, it wasn't worth it. Like, just try. And I was trying to say to other people, if every day you do one thing towards your dream, even if you're working full time and you think you don't have the time, whatever your dream is creatively that you want to do, even if you look up a website and take note of something or a screenshot of something you'd like to make, or you contact someone else who's done what you're trying to do and ask them a question. If you do one thing every day, your dream will eventually come true. And that's what's happened for me. And even when I was really sick, I tried to do at least one thing a day towards my show.
Wow, that's great advice. Yeah. And you don't have to be sick to be doing that. You're just doing it one thing every day.
And because I think people feel like, well, I did too. I totally understand. that is just too big. It's too hard. It's too, who do I talk to? I don't know where to start. Like, just looking up someone else who's done it. Well, at least they can. I couldn't because there was no one who'd done what I'd done. But whatever they're trying to do, just, and it keeps you inspired and it keeps the dream alive and it makes you feel like you're getting there. Yeah. Because it's all little steps, right?
It is. It's not until you look back, is it, that you kind of realise, oh, there's a bigger picture there. But at the time, it is one step at a time, isn't it?
And even if it takes you 10 years, like that, because I would imagine how I feel it, like it's so burning inside me that even if it does take me 10 years, I'll do it because I can't not do it.
Yeah.
So one step every day for 10 years, however many years.
Yes, yes. And one step closer, and you're not denying yourself that creativity and that fulfilling of a dream.
Yeah, and every step you take makes you realise that it's not as hard as you thought as well.
Yeah.
Wow. It's achievable. Be creative, people.
That's right. Creative and living. Absolutely. Sage advice. Thanks, Tina.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. That's all right. Well, we'll see you again. See you.
Thank you. Take care.